you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. Thank you for my friends, Spirit, thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit, thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. Today is a new day, new day, new day. And I can see a new way, new way, new way. It's gonna be good, gonna be good, gonna be good. 'Cause everything is new today. Today's made of softly,
Softly, softly,
and I can shake it my
my way, my way, my way.
It's gonna be good, gonna be good, gonna be good. 'Cause everything is new today.
Good morning. Welcome. All of you intrepid church enjoyers coming out on a cold day. Good for you. Happy New Year. I'm your practitioner in service today, Judy Hunt, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living in the heart of Las Cruces, where our vision is a world in loving partnership for the good of all. I want to welcome anyone visiting for the first time. Nice to have you, and anybody else I have missed. There are really nice packets of information in the back by each of the doors, so please pick one up before you go. Do make sure your phones are on vibrate or silent. And I hope everyone has an orange. And okay, good. And our job is to keep them intact until you go out the door, because we are protecting our new carpet. Grab an orange there, sir. That's right. Nobody gets by without an orange. Good. Good job. We've got orange spotters, so it's good. Our next board meeting will be next Sunday after the service. And on January 16th, we will have a new member orientation after the service. So if you're interested in becoming a member, that's when you sit with Reverend Bonnie and find out what it entails. And we would welcome you firmly. Here at the Center for Spiritual Living, we believe in the power of prayer, which we call spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer. And there are prayer requests on the back of each chair in front of you. You can also push the prayer button on our website. And you can, if you fill out your prayer request and you put it in the God can in the back, or you can put it in the offering. And our prayer team is made up of practitioners and ministers from the 4 New Thought centers here in Las Cruces. So it's a very citywide operation that blesses you and prays with you with your request. Oh, and after the service, people like me with these stoles that marks us as practitioners, and we're available for a quick treatment if there's anything you come to church with that you'd rather just leave behind. So do that. We'll be available up front. Also, we have on the back of the chairs gratitude cards. So if there's anything you're feeling especially blessed about, please share that with us. We also bless that in our prayer meeting, and it is it's nicely acknowledged, and it makes it even realer in your life, I think. So now it is time for song, silence, and prayer.
Joy. In this moment, I am joy. Joy is this moment. Joy, joy, joy. This moment is what I am. New. In this moment, I am new. Is this moment new, new, new? This moment is what I am. Still, in this moment, I am still. Still is this moment. Still, still, still. This moment is what I am.
Spirit in the midst of us is mighty. We feel it moving around and through us in the divine flow, and we are naturally grateful and blessed by its presence. Especially here today in this sacred place with this sacred company. We know that Spirit is at work in our lives. The guidance, wisdom, grace, and blessings are flowing with ease. And we open our hearts to accept more and more every day. More and more acceptance. Not just a thimble, not even a bucket, a lake. We are a lake of acceptance. We feel the gratitude and the blessing in this space and in our hearts, and we know we are in the right place at the right time. This prayer is heard in spirit. It is done, and it is so. And so it is. The reading today comes from Ernest Holmes' The Science of Mind, the textbook. It's chapter 5 on body, and pages 98 and 99. The universe has been called the Great Trinity, or triune unity of spirit. That's soul and body. The body being the result, the effect, the objectification of spirit. Soul is the immaterial, plastic, and receptive medium. It is primordial or cosmic stuff, unmanifest form. Body is the result of spirit working through soul or law. The entire manifestation of spirit, both visible and invisible, is the body of God. There is one body of the universe. Within this one body is included all lesser bodies. He continues, the word body, as used in the science of mind, means all objective manifestations of the invisible principle of life. The body is distinguished from the idea in that the body is seen, while the idea is invisible. The physical universe is the body of God, the invisible principle of life, of all life. Our physical being is the body of the unseen man. Behind the objective form of the rose is the idea that projects that rose. To say that the body is unreal is a mistake. It is real, but it is an effect, not an entity. It may yet be proven that the mind completely controls the body and that the body is but a reflection of the mind. In no way would this contradict the reality of the body, nor the experience of pain and sickness. But it might help in an understanding of these experiences. While we may affirm that the body is not a thing of itself, we cannot say there is no body. The simplest way to think of body is to realize that it is the objective manifestation of a subjective mind and consciousness. And if we are to be well and happy, not only the body, but the mind must also be peaceful and harmonious.
Don't worry about a thing. Every little thing is gonna be alright. Don't worry about a thing. 'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. 3 little birds upon my doorstep, singing sweet songs, melodies pure and true, saying, this is my message to you. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. 3 little birds upon my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true, saying, this is my message to you.
Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Yeah, don't worry
Don't worry,
about a thing,
don't you worry about a thing.
'cause every little thing is gonna be alright.
Singing, don't worry. One heart,
This
is my message to you.
one love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. One love, one heart. This is my message to you. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. Let's get together and feel alright. Let's get together and feel alright.
thank you. Let's get together and feel all right. If we can get untangled, that would be the best part. I guess I'm not going to get untangled. I thought I had it all figured out. Sorry, folks. I guess. I don't know what direction I'm going. There we go, maybe. Oh, forget it. I was trying to get the mask off, and that's not going to work, is it? Sorry. Oh, my goodness. I thought I was well planned. Don't worry, everything's going to be all right. I don't know how I did this. I don't know what I'm doing. Forget it. It's going to stay on. Happy New Year, everybody. I'm Reverend Bonnie, the community spiritual leader here, and we're just going to stay tangled up for the new year. So as we reflect back over 2021, according to practitioner Rebecca Hiraoka, she said, "This year has been hard on many of us." And she wrote a story that I got permission from her to share with you. So we're going to start with her story. And this is a story that she wrote while she was drinking her coffee and looking at her nativity scene. And she said there was something about the nativity scene that she really likes, because she says there's just something interesting about the way that humans have gathered around a little baby in a manger, and that they were quite an unlikely flock. Teen parents, far from home, shepherds, Zoroastrian priests, livestock, angels, a motley crew. And they stood together in awe at a new life. And she said, it dawned on me that we think of Christmas as the point in the story where it ends, that that's the final happy ending to the story. The crisis point in the story was that there was no room at the end, which gets resolved in the stable when Jesus was born. And then she says, cue the angels. But Christmas is not the end of the story. It's this moment, this precious and sacred moment, but a moment nonetheless. Mary and Joseph had to wake up the next morning after Christmas. They had to find food. They had to find lodging. And they realized that they couldn't return home. Their brand new baby was being hunted down by King Herod, who'd heard the prophecy that a king would be born that would be greater than any king on earth. Mary, Joseph, and Jesus became refugees right after his birth. They were on the run. We can only imagine how hard their journey was. It is not dissimilar from journeys of so many families and individuals that are facing a myriad of perils today. Christmas is not the end of the story. It's the middle of the story, a bright moment in a narrative full of shadow. There's a lot of shadow in the world, a lot of hard, and there's also bright moments, times that are so full of awe that they draw us together and render us speechless. Further on, she says, the Jesus who shook societal norms, who advocated against a violent state and dogma that caused harm, whose ministry was one of love, justice, and mercy, didn't become that Jesus at birth. He journeyed. He and his family struggled. The nativity is one moment in that beautiful life, and there were many other moments too. Hopefully, if we're fortunate, we can have some moments like the unlikely nativity crew of total awe. We can stop and feel how magical it is to be alive and to be part of a greater human story. When I read that, I just thought, wow, what an interesting way to look at it, because this month we're looking at moments of awe. And for the entire year, we will be looking at living everyday wonder. And each month will have a different aspect of that wonder. And this month it is awe, living in awe. Now, traditionally, January is a time to review the basics of our teaching. We start with the first 4 chapters in the Science of Mind text, usually. The first chapter being this thing or the thing itself. But this year, we're taking a little different tact. The thing, as Ernest Holmes refers to it sometimes, is spirit or God. And as we heard in our reading, the universe, the thing, has been called the Great Trinity or Triune Unity of spirit, soul, and body. The body being the result, the effect, the objectification of spirit. And when we think about something that's awe-inspiring, usually we're thinking about an aspect of the body, that which is manifest, an expression of God. Whether it's a sunset, a newborn baby, a puppy, kitten, or oranges. And yet, according to Merriam-Webster and other definitions of the word awe, it's actually a mixed bag. Awe is an emotion variously combining dread, veneration, and wonder that is inspired by authority or by the sacred or sublime. A feeling of reverential respect mixed with fear and wonder. And awe refers to a feeling of fearful or profound respect or wonder inspired by the greatness, superiority, grandeur, etc., of a person or thing and suggest an immobilizing effect. And the verb is to inspire with awe. And so any of us who come out of the Judeo-Christian background are familiar with this idea that we should fear God. In addition to God being love, there was that idea of something to fear. And Holmes starts to move us away from that aspect of fearing God by explaining that we usually only fear that which we don't understand. And so Holmes says there is nothing mysterious in the truth so far as it is understood, but all things seem mysterious until we understand them. And so fear, when it comes into our lives, when we experience it, usually elicits 3 different types of reactions: fight, flight, or freeze. And I think that as we seek to understand that which creates fear in our lives, we can add a 4th response, which is shifting into awe. It has a little element of fear, but it shifts us out of intense fear into that idea of wonder, into reverence. We are often told you have to face your fears. You have to walk through your fears. But how does one do that if you're in a state of fight, flight, or freeze? I think we can do that if we remember that that which causes fear is usually something we don't understand, and allow ourselves to stand then in awe of whatever that is and seek to understand it. To seek to find a way to move more into wonder, reverence, and even admiration. You can start with curiosity and wonder. So, knock, knock. Banana. Knock, knock. Banana. Knock, knock. Banana. Knock, knock. Orange. Aren't you glad I didn't say banana? So laughter and finding ways to laugh with people and connect through laughter is also another way to shift our mood and to connect with people. And so speaking of oranges, I believe that everyone has one. If you don't, wave and Judy will bring you one, or Teresa. Everybody have an orange? And for those of you who are watching on the video later, get an orange if you have one, or something that you can hold in your hand. And I want to thank you all for waiting to peel it and eat it when you're not in the sanctuary. For now, what I'd like you to do is lift your orange up and look at it. Just observe it. Look closely, turn it around. Notice how it feels. You can even peek under the mask and get a little smell of it. Really spend some time observing your orange. And then consider how it is that you might be similar to this orange. And how are you different? Is there anything that you would like to know more about your orange? What kind of questions would you ask it if you could? What do you wonder about your orange and its experience prior to being in your hand? And in your mind's eye, just ask it those questions. And as you spend a little time with your orange, are you feeling yourself shift into a little bit of awe about this thing that you're calling an orange in your hands? And how does it feel different than wonder? And how does it feel similar to wonder? Spending time with something, just an object like this, is a way that you can practice awe and wonder in your life. And so I encourage you to feel free to continue this practice when you take it home and peel it and even taste it, look at what it looks like on the inside. Continue that practice of awe just with this item, just one thing, and then think how you can do that with so many things that are in our lives. As we consider the similarities and the differences between us and this orange, consider that sphere moving from the orange out into all of the creation, all the body of spirit, and how we can look at each aspect of that creation with the same questions, with the same interest, with the same wonder. And so now, again, holding up your orange, if you have something in your mind, something in your life that's been creating a little fear or disturbance or consternation, consider that being held inside your orange. And again, thinking about that, look at it with the same level of curiosity and wonder. Observe it. Look at how you might be the same as this thing in your life, and consider how you're different. As you consider it, see if you can't shift how you feel about it from full-on fear to more awe and wonder. And again, this is a practice that you can use at home. If there's something going on in your life, to just spend some time with it in curiosity and awe. Recently, I read a book called Snowflower and the Secret Fan. It is by Lisa C. And it's a story that takes us through a glimpse of Chinese culture from the early to mid 1800s. And as I read it, I just marveled at societal structures that humans create. As I looked at theirs and compared it to ours, and I saw so many differences in these creations that humans have put together. I looked at the differences in family structures, how marriages are arranged, and even friendships, and how death is viewed and how it's handled. I saw a lot of differences as I looked at this culture compared to what I'm used to. And yet, as the late Desmond Tutu said, differences are not intended to separate, to alienate. We are different precisely in order to realize our need of one another. And so I noticed that even though we as humans have differences in food and clothing and rituals and ways of daily life, that the emotions that we experience were the same. They cry, we cry when we're sad. There was laughter when there's joy and happiness, and grieving when there's a loss of someone or something dear to us. On Christmas Eve, I was journaling as I was missing my son, and I was remembering how I would wake him up often by singing a little song, "Good morning to you, good morning to you." Okay, I won't sing the whole thing. But I would wake him up, he'd be like, "Mom, no, no." And then I could take my finger and aim for his armpit, just doing this, and he'd do that. He would start giggling and laughing, and I wouldn't even be touching him yet. And then I would tell him silly jokes like, "Aren't you glad I didn't say banana?" And so there I was, feeling sad and laughing at the same time. And I became in awe of what was going on in my head. And I had an aha. So have you ever been sitting at a table where there's some food in front of you that you absolutely did not want to eat, and have someone say to you, "Now there are starving children somewhere, so you better eat whatever that is"? The implication being that whatever I did at my table would somehow impact other people at their tables around the globe. Now, in some ways, because we are all one, that is true. And at the same time, I think there's a different way of sort of handling that kind of experience in our lives. And I realized that I was doing a similar thing with my grief. I was comparing myself to others in the world who might be grieving. And I also recently read, this was given to me, a book called Messages, Signs, Visits, and Premonitions from Loved Ones Lost in 9/11 by Bonnie McEniany. And it was very interesting because this woman lost her husband in 9/11, and she ended up speaking to a lot of other people who lost somebody during 9/11. And as I read each one of these stories, I realized how much grief had occurred in people's lives. Some people lost more than one family member, especially if there was a group of people on the plane that went down. And so I was sitting there thinking about that, and then I started thinking about all the people who've passed with COVID and their families and the grief that they're experiencing. Again, probably some families had multiple deaths because of this. And then my mind went to the war-torn areas, and it went on, and I felt like my childhood table experience had turned into, how can you justify grieving when there are people all over the world that have bigger problems than you do? And that was mixed with, I'll give you something to grieve about. So, as I was sitting there having all this stuff go on in my head, all of a sudden it dawned on me, and I had this feeling of peace actually come over me as I imagined stepping into a space that the only term I could give it was collective grief. A space where there was no comparing, no minimizing, just collectively feeling together, where we were honoring each other and I was honoring myself. And in that honoring was a feeling of love and being loved. And that's when I noticed that, oddly enough, I had started smiling in the midst of feeling all of that. When I saw how, as a community, as the world, I'd stepped into that space. And I was in awe of our common language of emotions. And again, we are different precisely in order to realize our need of one another. And our need for one another includes having others to share our emotions with. Someone to laugh with, people to cry with, to joke and play and experience joy, and to grieve with. In that collective way, even if we're sitting alone, when we can open our hearts and minds and realize that this is a global experience on all levels of emotion, as one human family, one expression of God. The rest of the story, the rest of the Christmas story, the rest of that story about the birth of love on earth continues with us. And there's awe every step of the way. Joel Goldsmith and Ernest Holmes and a lot of the other New Thought teachers suggested and encouraged us to take time every day to contemplate and visualize and to see peace around the world. The things hoped for, as Holmes says, faith is the substance of. And I started thinking that if we took time every day in awe of those things that are around us, to really consciously move into that space of awe, of curiosity and wonder, that peace is a natural byproduct of awe, of that place. And as the people of the world get more curious about each other, and as we learn more about each other, we move out of fear and defensiveness, and we move through our fear into admiration and reverence through awe. With this kind of awe, we actually are at peace. And so as we move into 2022, should fear or dread raise its ugly head in your life, I suggest that you think back to this morning or whenever you're watching and how you held up that orange and how you thought about it and questioned and were able to move into a space of awe. Look at whatever it is that's showing up in your life with curiosity and wonder, and see if you can't shift into that space of reverence and awe. And then be sure to ask it, aren't you glad I didn't say banana? So, on a more serious note, would the practitioners please stand around the room? We're going to go within. And please remember that these practitioners are here to serve you. If there's anything that you're moving into 2022 with that you would like prayerful support to see transformed, to see enhanced, spend some time with them after the service. I'm going to share with you some words from a young woman who wandered into our hearts earlier this year, Amanda Gorman. And this is her newest poem, intended to honor the hardships, hurt, hope, and healing of 2021 while hearkening the potential of 2022. And she says, before I read the poem, this is such a unique New Year's Day because even as we toast our glasses to the future, we still have our heads bowed for what has been lost. I think one of the most important things the new year reminds us is of that old adage, this too shall pass. You can't relive the same day twice, meaning every dawn is a new one, and every year an opportunity to step into the light. So I invite you to just go within and listen to the words of her poem. May this be the day we come together. Mourning, we come to mend. Withered, we come to weather. Torn, we come to tend. Battered, we come to better. Tethered by this year of yearning, we are learning that though we weren't ready for this, we have been readied by it. Steadily, we vow that no matter how we are weighed down, we must always pave a way forward. This hope is our door, our portal. Even if we never get back to normal, someday we can venture beyond it to leave the known and take the first steps. So let us not return to what was normal, but reach toward what is next. What was cursed, we will cure. What was plagued, we will prove pure. Where we tend to argue, we will try to agree. Those fortunes we forswore, now the future we foresee. Where we weren't aware, we're now awake. Those moments we missed are now these moments we make. The moments we meet, our hearts, once altogether beaten, now together beat. Come, look up with kindness yet, for even solace can be sourced from sorrow. We remember not for the sake of yesterday, but to take on tomorrow. We heed this old spirit and a new day's lyric. In our hearts we hear it. For Auld Lang Syne, my dear, for Auld Lang Syne, be bold, saying time this year, be bold, saying time. For when you honor yesterday, tomorrow ye shall find. Know that we've fought need not be forgot, nor for none. It defines us, binds us as one. Come over, join this day just begun. For wherever we come together, we will forever overcome. And so as we breathe in those beautiful words, bringing us hope as we step into 2022, we stand in awe of what was, in awe of what is, in awe of what is yet to be. We open our hearts and minds to fully value, to fully honor, to fully see and open to, with curiosity and wonder, all that is of God's making, all of the creation that is God expressing in this world. And so from this place of awe, I move into gratitude, grateful for everyone in this room, grateful for the message that comes from merely looking at an orange. I am grateful for all of this creation of which I am a part and everyone in this room is a part. So with hearts of gratitude, we release this time together saying, and so it is.
One, two, three. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies blue, clouds of white, bright blessed day, dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. Colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies crying, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yeah.
Once again, how perfect, a song about all the beautiful things in this world that we can be grateful for, that are part of the expression of Spirit of God created. What a beautiful song, perfect. You guys are amazing, because we don't talk about this. It just happens. I say that every time, but, it is amazing. So thank you again to the band and that wonderful song. That's a song we can sing to remind us to stay in awe. So we've moved into a new year as well as a new month, and 10% of everything that comes through the center is tithed. And this month we will be tithing to the Oak Street Veterans Apartments, which are a supportive community and resource bridge housing 22 formerly homeless veterans under the management of the Mesilla Valley Community of Hope. They have many needs as they navigate independent living, as the complex strives to help supply them with basic items such as a food pantry, clothing, blankets, sheets, towels, personal hygiene, and cleaning supplies. And so 10% of what comes through here will go to support what they're doing for these veterans that have served us in our country. So I'm grateful to be a part of that. So let us just say together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, in me. And so it is. And as you sing, I am so blessed, see if you can really picture the blessings in your life.
We are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so grateful for all that we have. We are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so grateful. We are so blessed.
We are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so grateful for all that we have.
We are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so grateful. We are so blessed.
So take some time to really stay in awe, especially this month, but keep it going. I think it's a wonderful practice. I feel blessed and I'm grateful for each and every one of you. And please remember that the practitioners are here to help bring you into the new year. Let them do a quick treatment for you after the service. Now we can stand and sing our closing song. Thank you.
I leave here in peace. I step out in love. I know everything I need is part of me. And I will not speak until I first think. Is it kind and true and needed? One life, God's life, my life now. One life, God's life, my life now. I live here in peace. I step out in love. I know everything I need is part of me. And I will not speak until I first think. Is it kind and true